Hello and thank you for joining us on Sideline Story, your destination for sports news, analysis and discussions. I'm Brandon Yates and today we will be discussing the Asian Games taking place in Hangzhou, China, as we are now 1 month away from the event. To help me get through the subject matter, I'm joined by two fantastic panelists, Yang Guang and Tian Yu. And Yang Guang, I'll start with you. We know the event is happening in Hangzhou and so many fans and participants are really excited about visiting this Chinese city. I'm assuming a lot of people have never been to it before. So what can you tell me about Hangzhou and what makes it a unique and exciting destination for fans, participants, and just people that will be in that area during that time?
Yeah, I think people would love it. The athletes, all the coaches and media staff, they would love it when they arrive in Hangzhou. And Hangzhou might not be the most familiar city people know about in China. I mean, Beijing and Shanghai dominate the news headlines for the most of the time.
I guess quite a few athletes and teams from around Asia won't necessarily be familiar with that city either.
But it doesn't really necessarily mean Hangzhou is less capable of hosting such big multi-sport event as the Asian Games. And actually Chengdu just hosted World University Games. It turned out a huge success. Tian Yu was there. And
we're jealous. I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, I recalled some student athletes there. They said it's like as if they were attending the Olympics.
Wow.
With the big opening ceremony and stuff.
Yeah.
So as a city on the similar level with Chengdu, Hangzhou, in my opinion, can do an equally good job, if not better.
Okay.
So in terms of the venues and infrastructure, I know people are talking about the big Lotus, small Lotus, the main venues for athletics and the tennis action.
Right, where most of the action and most of the, I guess, fans' eyes will be.
Yeah, they are the symbol of the Asian Games. Those two newly built venues, they are very modern and good looking as well. But I'm more fascinated about a smaller venue, which is called the Fuyang Qinghu Sports Center.
I'm not going to try and say that, guys, but it sounds fantastic. Tell me more about it.
It's a venue for all the shooting and archery competitions will take place during the games. It's a very unique venue because the architecture of it vividly resembles an ancient Chinese shanshui painting dwelling into the Fuchun Mountains, which is very famous in China. So that architecture, it's very beautifully designed.
Right.
And fully representing the Jiangnan-style architecture.
I love it when venues have that element where there's definitely like an artistic element to it and there's obviously architectural innovation, but at the same time it honors the history of a certain venue or culture or city or country. And it sounds like this venue's got that right. Yeah,
with the curved roof and delicate gardens and yards, it's really beautiful. And really adds a traditional Chinese cultural touch to the games. And it's just the venue is just one of the cases Hangzhou is to offer in terms of the cultural elements. I believe the athletes and the coaches would love it when they arrive in Hangzhou.
Fantastic. I think historically at major sporting events like this, that's definitely something that China and Chinese cities have got right, is that they honor a certain area's historical elements. And that's always something that I think participants and fans really appreciate, is kind of having a visual aspect of what the city represents, what the culture represents. I think that's always incredibly important. And it sounds like we're going to experience that at Hangzhou. So that's going to be very exciting to see indeed. And I'm sure that the fans and participants are going to absolutely love it. Tian Yu, from your side, anything that Hangzhou is going to offer that's going to be, unique?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Hangzhou is the perfect place for holding an Asian Games. It's, in terms of venue-wise, it is home to one of the biggest water sports venue in China, second only to Water Cube, which hosted water sports events for the Beijing.
And it's globally known. I mean, people around the world are very familiar with that venue.
Yes. And in terms of football, which we all share the same interest for.
Absolutely.
They have the Huanglong Sports Center Stadium, which is the home stadium of the Chinese Super League team, Team Zhejiang. And it's also used to hold the 2007 Women's World Cup. So a lot of a very professional football courts. And what makes this tournament especially unique is that it has the esports venue. And as an esports fan,
I can see you lighting up.
yeah,
You love it.
I've never really watched an esports game in the venue myself,
Yeah.
and I really envy you guys who have the chance to really go there and to watch a game on the spot. Is really fascinating.
We'll try our best to appreciate it as much as you do. We'll try our absolute best.
We've got to share the experience.
Of course,
with me, yeah.
of course.
So the panoramic view of these courts really tells me that these venues are really professional and grand, and so a lot to expect from that.
Yeah.
And apart from that, Hangzhou, in terms of Hangzhou, the city itself, it's a very international city. It's I just returned from Chengdu, where like Yang said, the World University Games was hosted there. And I gotta say that Hangzhou is actually pretty similar to Chengdu. Both cities are have long history, and they have a rich cultural elements and all these scenic spots like the West Lake. You know the West Lake, Brandon?
I'm not familiar with it, but my mother has done business in Hangzhou, and she said there is a lake that runs through the entire city. I'm assuming that's the lake you're talking about?
Yeah. Great to hear that. And also the Thousand Island Lake, where there are like more than 1,000 islets scattered across this lake. Yes, beautiful. You got it. You guys, if you have the chance,
I hope we do.
Try.
I'm sure we'll get the opportunity to see everything that Hangzhou has to offer. And from what you're describing, it sounds absolutely stunning.
Sounds like a tour guide now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also at the same time, we can call it a metropolitan city.
Right.
It's a lot of young people and people from different countries coming here, and and also the nightlife is buzzing, and it's also the e-commerce hub in China where Alibaba, the tech giant, was born there. So it's a vibrant city with a lot of, and also with a lot of vigor and a great
innovation
place,
and culture
for holding an Asian Games. Yeah.
Fantastic. It does seem to be one of those cities that is a little bit more well known than the traditional, other cities around China that aren't Beijing or Shanghai. I think Hangzhou is on that level. It seems like it's not just known around China or Asia. It just seems to be one of those internationally known cities. Like I said, my mother's done business there, and a lot of people in South Africa and from other countries around the world are definitely familiar with Hangzhou. And I think that it's definitely going to offer some unique elements, like you've both already described, that will entice fans and participants. And do you think, Tianyu, that the people that will be participating in the games, the athletes and the teams, do you think they're expecting a world-class show? Are they going to arrive and expect to see some really brilliant things that will make Hangzhou a really memorable games for them?
Yeah, of course. Based on my past experience in Chengdu, I think these athletes from different countries and regions, they're very curious about China.
Yeah.
Remember the guest we had on the previous episode, the Luke Zenke?
Yes.
Luke.
From Germany,
Yeah, from Germany. He's a German povoter. And when we like chatted when he didn't have matches, he would ask me all the time, where's the restaurants?
Yeah.
Where are the restaurants that locals would go often? And
he sounds like me when I arrived in Beijing for the first time.
Where the places that locals would go to have fun.
Right.
Yeah, they are very eager to know about the city and the culture. Yeah, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to really come to know about China more.
Explore the city.
Yeah. Absolutely. I hope we see that from the athletes that will be participating at these games, that of course we want them to be focused on their events and doing the best that they can do for the reason that they're there, but we also have to hope that they have the opportunity to explore and just see that everything that Hangzhou has to offer, and just learn about Chinese history, culture, day-to-day life. Definitely. And I'm sure they will definitely have those opportunities, and I'm sure we will too when we are in Hangzhou, which I'm really looking forward to. And we touched on esports a little bit, Yang Guang, and we know that esports is one of the new sports that's going to be included at the Asian Games along with breakdancing. What do you think about these inclusions of esports and breakdancing?
I kind of get it when they decided to include breakdancing into the Asian Games program.
Very specific, breakdancing.
Yes, because it involves a lot of movement and it's very demanding physically.
Just as demanding as any sport, I would say.
Yeah,
physically.
It's like floor competitions in gymnastics, where athletes do a series of movements and they are scored based on
and heavily coordinated
performances by the judges. And in breakdancing's case, the only difference would be they would do those movements according to the rhythm of the music. And so I would say it's kind of a bit of both. dancing and sports.
Yeah,
and,
it's like artistic and physical.
Yeah, meantime.
Right.
And it's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But esports, yeah, I would put a question
You
mark
says it
there.
with such disdain. Esports.
I know Tian Yu is a huge esports fan.
Yes.
I think you have much to say about this.
Yeah.
Yes, defend esports honor, please.
Yeah. I've been playing League of Legends, a mobile game, for like about 10 years. And I've got to say, I'm really thrilled to see that eSport can finally end up as an official event.
Is that the game,
this
right?
year's
So
Asian Games.
so they're all going to be playing League of
Yes,
Legends. Are there any other games or
Yeah, there's a lot of couple of other games like
Okay.
FIFA Online 4, like
that will be
PUBG.
that will be
mobile.
competed amongst?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so it's not just League of Legends. There's a few
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and they'll be in different
There's
categories. I
different
guess?
genres of games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's super excited.
I would kind of
exciting.
like my odds in the FIFA competition. I might
it's
maybe
really
pretend to be
entertaining to
Chinese
watch.
Not too
for
late
2
to
weeks.
practice.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get in there.
So yeah, it was just a couple of years ago, the many countries and regions don't deem esport as a real sport because for the obvious reasons like
I'm one of them.
I guess it's similar to the chess debate, right?
Yeah.
Where is chess a
'cause-
sport? Isn't it a sport?
yeah, like chess.
So tell me, why is esports a sport? Sell me.
This is CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.